Welcome back, hunters, to another impression videos of the latest Monster Hunter Wilds video that just dropped. It has been 2 days since the video dropped, and I'm only now getting the chance to record my impressions. I've already watched it, I've been digesting on what I've seen, and as the title of the video will indicate, I have mixed feelings. This does not feel fully like the Monster Hunter we know, and I think that this may be a divisive video, but hey, it's not the first time we've done this on this channel. There's a lot of things I'm excited for this game, but there's also a lot of reservations I have from what we've seen just from the first trailer, and I want to share those impressions with you. You know me, I'm always trying to be as candid as I can with all of you on my first impressions, and I think it's also important for the creators and the developers to know how people are reacting to all of this. Not that my opinion specifically matters, but the more people feel empowered to voice their opinions, I think it's important to talk about it. So for today's video, I'm going to go over everything, all the information that's been released, like the trailer. We're going to look at the trailer together in segments, and I'm just going to share my thoughts and impressions about everything we've seen. I've gone through the website and absorbed all the information there. I've looked at the developer interview. And so with that, I feel I've got enough info to like make an opinion on what I like, what I don't like, what I'm thinking about. And I'm hoping to share kind of this with all of you and see what you guys think and just join the discussion. So just going back to like the original trailer we saw at the Game Awards, you know, when I first saw the very first trailer, I didn't even know what I was looking. I didn't even realize I was looking at Monster Hunter until towards the end when the music and the Capcom and the whole thing like popped up. That's when it like triggered. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the new Monster Hunter game. With this trailer, it's funny because I was actually cooking and I was looking at, like, I was waiting for something to cook on the stove, and I was looking on my phone going through social media, and the Monster Hunter account, I saw like a video of a sand ship moving, and I thought it was an advertisement for Monster Hunter Stories. I had no idea there was State of Play happening that day. And so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, another Monster Hunter Stories promo, whatever. Like, I'm probably going to play that eventually. And then I see the next scene, which introduces the two new women characters, Alma and Gamma, which I think that's how you pronounce them. I was like, wait a minute, that looks like world like characters, but I don't recognize these characters. I was like, oh my goodness, am I looking at a Wilds trailer? And right there, I just like closed my phone. I'm like, no, I can't be doing this. So later that night, I did a full impression video, like live impression. I watched the trailer on stream over on twitch.tv/HeyGofficial. And so that video is up for the next few days if you guys want to see it, what I thought when I first saw everything. And that's going to be uploaded over to HeyJ Streams eventually, so it will be living there forever. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get right into the trailer. And I'm just going to break this down with all of you. I'm not really looking to... I don't think there's a lot of room for speculation in this trailer. I feel this is the first trailer that they really give us that's like, here's information, here's what you can expect from the game. And some of it is good, some of it is bad. Well, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just confusing. Because like I said, my main takeaway emotion is something feels off. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it doesn't feel like Monster Hunter, because it does, but it feels different. I think we're going to put some audio on this. Why not? Like, even though I'm going to like be stopping a lot. Like, this was the scene I saw on my phone, and like, this feels very Monster Hunter. I love my sand ships. I love all of this. I love the armor of the hunter. I'm liking this vibe that we're getting. This is probably the first thing that made me go, huh? And I'm really worried and to share my thoughts on this, because I really feel that this is territory that is sensitive on the internet, that I might get canceled. A white dude sharing maybe criticism of two women characters. But my first impression, I'm going to say, and please don't cancel me, is that when I saw these two characters, I'm like, these look like stereotypical characters I see on the internet that would join like a protest. And that is terrible, because I feel that's going to attract the worst kind of people from the internet here. But that's just my first impression of seeing these characters. So I understand this is the smithy,
we can get things set up and
which I was like, okay, we've never had like a smithy with so much spunk before. Like, she looks really like punk rock. Really, I don't care much for her. When I first saw her, at first I was like, oh my goodness, is this like a modern version of Guildmarm? Like, she gives me a little bit of that charming, shy vibe to her. But again, gives me like extreme left-wing vibes as a first impression. The thing is, these are side characters. If it's anything like Rise and Sunbreak, maybe we won't be seeing them that much. Maybe it doesn't even matter. I remember having impressions and thoughts about the Sunbreak characters, which ended up not mattering because they're barely in the story anyways. So those were the first two characters when I saw that I was like, okay, it feels different. It feels different. And then I think at this point, the palico is talking, which people pointed out to me. And I saw the developer interview where they actually confirmed that, yeah, the palicos are talking in this game, which is another thing I am actually against. I think it's a bad move. We've seen palicos talk before, Monster Hunter Stories, and look how well that worked out.
If you really don't know about donuts, how come you don't go nuts?
I just feel like less is more sometimes. And I think this has been one of the struggles we've had as the Monster Hunter franchise has evolved, where they've modernized a lot of mechanics, which I think takes away the charm of from the game. And having the palico talk, maybe I'll change after playing the game with it. But at first impression, I'm like, why does the palico need to talk? Why can't we just have the palico make cool sounds and let its personality shine through its actions and grunts and whatever other sounds it wants to make? So yeah, that's a bad move, palico talking, but we'll see. Now, if the palico is actually like your Navi in this game, that's going to be even worse, where the palico is telling you like, hey, do this, do this. Anyways, we'll see how that happens, but I'm not feeling good about that choice.
I hope we find them soon.
So this here is the first kind of plot thread that I got. It's like, okay, so we're going to another world. We're searching for someone. And this is already where I'm getting the sense that like, this game seems to be very narratively like impactful. It looks like they're really focusing more narrative aspects into the game than past Monster Hunters, which is something I have asked for many years. I'm like, oh, I want more narrative aspects in my game, in my Monster Hunter. But now I've seen this trailer, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's what I wanted anymore. We'll get to it later in some of the later scenes. Oh, it's actually right here. Like this whole dark scene and backstory, where I think this is the protagonist on the left that you play as, which, why do we look like Ezio from Assassin's Creed? I don't know. Like, I'm assuming that we can customize our character. I really hope so. So this is probably just like the default character that they've went with, which means it's how I'm probably going to look like in the game. Yeah, so from what I'm gathering, so this character, the kid on the right, his name is Nada, and they pretty much say he's a mystery boy on the website. And we're searching for someone in this new land. Not someone, like multiple people, because they're like, oh, is that them over there? Are we looking for them? I think this new region is called Forbidden Lands, which adds all sorts of elements to this. So it's like, who are we looking for? What's this kid have to do with all of it? And why is everything in this world named with an A at the end? So the two girls, we got Alma, we got Gemma, we got this boy who's Nada. And then later on, as I learned, the monsters that are introduced, Dashaguma and Chadacabra. It's weird that everything ends in an A, but anyways, maybe that's not relevant to anything. Yeah, so we're going over the sands. Maybe this boy has a power. I really don't understand like why this kid needs to come with us on this journey. Like, why can't we just seek out whatever we're looking for on our own? This is also making me think, so they confirmed it is pretty much open world from what I gather from what they've said. I'm understanding that this is a fully open world game where the climate is changing at all times, which that I like. I'm all for it. If you look at my things I hoped for Monster Hunter 6, that was one of the things I was hoping for. And it's looking like if we're on this expedition trying to find people, I think the hub is probably that ship. The sand ship is probably our hub. If that's the case, that I'm excited for. That's an awesome thing to be excited for. So here we have our first glimpse of Chadacabra. Again, we're getting these weird fossils that we still don't know what this is. There's a lot of mention of like the herds. So it sounds like herds are going to be pretty important with the monsters. Like it sounds like the monsters will just kind of come in packs, and then the ones that we're gonna have to hunt, the like alphas of the pack or something.
Incredible. I've never heard of a Karatnoth herd this big before.
These I actually have also mixed feelings on. So what we're writing on here is called a secret, I think it's called. It's not a secret anymore. Anyways, they look great. I love the design. I think they are a huge improvement over the Palamutes. Sorry, Palamute lovers. But we've also seen that they work just like Palamutes in battle. And even on the website, they say the secret is there to help with the hunts, to help you sharpen. And that was one thing I really hope was not coming back in Monster Hunter 6. The ability to like hop on your mount, leave the hunt, or run around while you're sharpening and drinking your potions. It does make the fights a little bit too easy in my opinion.
One of them's got big spikes on
We'll
its
get back to
back.
that as we get into the fight scenes, because it looks like they're doing a few different things that I like. got some annoying bipedal raptors, and then we got our boys here, the pack. The Dashaguma. Ugly face. Absolutely disgusting face. I just want to hunt it because of how ugly it is.
Now to lead it away from the pack.
Okay, so this is where we find out that the protagonist speaks. And why do we need to have everything talk? I'm so surprised they made this decision. So we started getting hints of it in Rise. They gave us sound bites, but now it's a fully voiced actor, and I'm just like, character. I was like, why do we do this? And they're even saying they want that the player are immersed in the game. And I felt that the old Monster Hunter games were very good at creating immersion, because you're hunting, you're setting up, your character doesn't talk, you are the hunter. But now we have kind of this predetermined character who's not like a nobody who's coming up through the ranks. From what we're gathering from the trailer, we are a seasoned hunter being sent on a mission, and now we are watching this character as the player. And that to me feels like a step back from what the Monster Hunter experience has been up to this point. I think it can still be a fantastic game. I'm just, giving my criticism where criticism is due. This is a new thing, and I don't think it's necessarily a good new thing. But we'll see. If he's a charming boy, like I love Ezio in Assassin's Creed, if he's as charming as Ezio, we're going to be okay.
We'll make for the desert.
Right.
So yeah, I like this. Whoops. Yeah, I like this part of, it looks like you have to like pull away. So if it's an open world, it seems like you can engage in a hunt at any time you want. And there's a scene later on where I think the handler says like commencing the hunt, which to me tells me that is when the game like goes into hunt mode. So when you're not commencing the hunt, you're just like exploring, gathering things. And even here, how you have to like pull away the alpha or the main monster away from the herd to fight it. I like that mechanic. That's a pretty good mechanic. The sandstorms, as we've seen in the original thing, so they've confirmed the weather patterns are going to change. It's a very hostile land, and anything could happen, which also I love. I love the fact that this is a living, breathing world, and that it sounds like we have to just adjust the hunt on the fly, which I'm all about. I like that. Like, we got sand pits to deal with. I don't know what's going on here. Well, this is a cutscene, so that's probably when they introduced the monster in the game.
Now commencing the hunt.
See right here, now commencing the hunt by order of the guild. I think that is the trigger for whenever you want to hunt. So in the wild, you can probably find any monster you want. And whenever like that command happens, that's when you know, all right, we can start the hunt. Probably like the counter or whatever like happens. I've actually opened it so you can see my hand now. I'm okay with that. I think that's a good way to address how do you hunt in an open world game.
By order of the guild.
And I kind of like that they like really seem to tie the narrative aspect to the guild. It sounds like the guild has a much bigger presence in the game. I kind of like that. Yeah, this is definitely not a Gog character or whatever. This boy, Chotacabra. This guy I care a lot about. He is exactly the type of monster I love. And when I've seen, I'm like, oh my God, he licks the ground. Look at this. I love that animation. So he reminds me of like Tetsukabra as well as my other Tetnadron. Oh my goodness, I don't remember how to pronounce his name. Tech. You guys know what I mean. The big Kappa from Monster Hunter Rise. These are monsters I absolutely love, and this guy looks like a crossbreed between some of those. Like he actually looks like a crossbreed between a Puke and a Chotacabra. But this is a monster I love. Yeah, I'm already loving what they're doing here. And it sounds like his when he licks the floor, you can stick to the floor is what I gather, because his saliva is like really sticky, and he actually puts like boulders and stuff against his arms. So fighting this guy looks like it's going to be really fun. And just from a design perspective, they nailed it. I love this. See right here, this is where we can see that, you can get out of the way just by summoning your secret, which is like the Palamute. And I'm like, oh man, that empowers the hunter a little bit too much. This is interesting. So other monsters attacking it. I don't know if that like is kind of a passive thing, or if we can actively kind of influence nature to attack the monster. If we can influence nature, that'd be a cool mechanic. What do we got here? Yeah, running away, pulling. Okay, so this is something I do like. So if you're going to keep the riding mechanic in the hunt, it looks like they're integrating it more with the hunting mechanics, which is what I feel was missing maybe a little bit from Rise. To pull the Palamute during the fight, it was very much a getaway mechanic to like heal and stuff. Here it seems like there are actually more ways to use your ride to hunt. Here switching from melee weapon to ranged weapon, which I think is fantastic because I hate using ranged weapons as a hunter because on my feet, it doesn't feel good. But if I can go from like being a melee user and using my melee weapons on the ground, but then getting on my mount to pull out my guns and like run around and shoot, that is how you can have me play as like a gunner. I really, really like that. So like I would totally use it just the way that they're showing it here. Like, okay, you're doing a quick getaway, do a few shots, jump back down, pull out your sword, like doing this. I'm all here for that. And then the music's fantastic. So I know I started this video on a negative point, but like here we're getting into the good stuff. This is stuff I like. That again, I don't know if that's new. I assume it is because they're showing it off. I've never really used the greatsword, so I'm not familiar with the mechanic, but that looks like a really cool parry. I don't know if I can do that. Also, it looks like we're fighting two monsters at the same time here, which, although I don't know if this is gameplay or a cutscene. Another thing I forgot to mention, this scene reminded me because of all yellow and the gold. This really reminds me of Monster Hunter 4U, like just from a color perspective. And when you look at the whole design of the game, it does seem to lean more towards 4U from a color palette perspective. And so if it's a nod to 4U, and 4U was the most narrative focused Monster Hunter in the old world, that could be a good thing. Maybe it's just a stylistic choice, but yeah, it's funny that I've seen kind of like, there are similarities between the 4U visuals. Oh, you hear that crunch as the sword went down? I'm gonna play that again because the crunch is so satisfying. And there's later on, he does it like horizontal slash. It really makes me want to play greatsword in this game, which is this thing. At first, I thought it was a gun lance, which is a stupid thing to say because I can clearly see now that it's like a gun. But like this is like a typical gun lance position. Now, I don't know if this is a gun ability. I don't play guns. I recognize this move from gun lance. Also, 3 monsters fighting us now. Kind of scary. But oh yeah, there's the horizontal slash. Like these, like where you can feel the resistance in the monster. I don't know if that's new. I think it's new, but that excites me. That looks really, really good. Oh, right there again. It feels so good. And that was the thing when I went back to play World a bit. You know, World has that crunch when your weapon hits down and it looks like that's coming back. And look at all these particles like falling off the monster. That's satisfying. That's gonna, like, if we can just chop up our monsters like that, yes. Again, going back to this dark scene, this narrative, I don't know, like this is positioned and framed like it's a flashback of some kind. You can see here we're lead hunters, so narratively speaking, we're already like seasoned. And look at this boy. This is a beautiful, handsome man. I love this character, but why does he look like Ezio so much? And how much can we customize him? On the website, I see that you can be like a female hunter, a male hunter. I'm assuming we're going to be able to customize our characters, but it's interesting that they like are displaying him this way.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, the voice. I don't know. Flares are back. I'm not really excited about this. It's just, I'm excited that we're nodding back to World mechanics because I really like World. Here, I think this pretty much confirms they're not going to change how many hunters in a pack. They're showing 3 hunters joining you, so it looks like multiplayer hunts will be locked to 4 again. Lightning. This is really interesting because I'm pretty sure this is new. And I'm wondering if this is like a quick time event. So in World, you know, we had the equivalent of mounting. When you could mount, you could do extra damage. And I'm wondering if this is some kind of like defense equivalent of this, because you can see while the hunter's holding this on the left, there's another hunter with a hammer. I think it's a hammer. And he's about to pound this guy. So like holding the monster in this position gives the other hunters the ability and the time to like do more spanks. So yeah, the combat in this, I'm all for. Just those first elements that they decided to lead the trailer with got me feeling like, oh, this feels very different. Then they got this bonus. I don't really care about this bonus. I don't think I would ever even use these bonuses because I don't equip my cats with anything. So it's still like exciting stuff, but it's mixed. Like I like that they are trying things, that they're going a different route. but will they stick the landing is always the big question. So we'll find out next year. Looking at my notes, let me see if there was anything else I forgot to mention. I think we got everything that, yeah, the hunting mechanics, the music's, all these things, which I think are like some of the most important stuff. If they're doing a light, if they're not going too hard into the narrative aspect, kind of like World, which I felt was like lightly there, not too much in your face, that's going to be okay. So we know that there's a new trailer dropping in a week from now. They're going to unveil another monster. Excited to see how this develops, but cautiously optimistic. And I don't know if it's because I got like too hyped with Rise and Sunbreaker or what. I'm just keeping my expectations low. I don't want to overhype this. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of promising things. There's a lot of things to be excited for. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a very different game from what we're used to. And until we see more and we know what it is, it could really go either way. It could be anything. But I have confidence in the Capcom team, and I really think at the end of the day, they're going to deliver a fun game. And will it feel like old Monster Hunter? Will it feel too much like new Monster Hunter? Time will tell. But let me know what you think so far. If this is right up your alley, if you have any concerns, if there's anything that's like hyping you up that you really like or that you're really hoping for. And I'll see you on the next video, the next Monster Hunter video, as we start diving back into the hunting content of this channel. And until next time, keep it classy.